Lord,
Every
bless the
successful
work of my
story has a
hands
story.
today. Let
Some
every
are filled
customer
with
who comes to my
sacrifice,
stall
some
leave
with
happy and
determination,
satisfied.
and sadly, some attract jealousy from people who cannot stand to see others succeed. Today's story is about a humble food seller whose greatest recipe was not only delicious meals, but kindness, honesty, and respect. Her success inspired many, but it also awakened the envy of someone who would stop at nothing to destroy everything she had built. Stay until the end because the lesson in this story could change the way you see success forever. And if you enjoy inspiring stories with powerful life lessons, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another story. Before the first rays of sunlight touched the sky, before the streets became noisy, before the market came alive, Grace was already awake. Every single morning, she rose at exactly 4 o'clock. She knelt beside her bed, folded her hands, and whispered a simple prayer. Lord, bless the work of my hands today. Let every customer who comes to my stall leave happy and satisfied. After her prayers, she swept the small compound around her modest home until every corner was spotless. To Grace, cleanliness wasn't something to do when customers were watching. It was a habit. It was part of who she was. Soon afterward, she picked up her shopping basket and walked to the local market. She greeted every trader with a warm smile. "Good morning, Mama." "Good morning, brother." She carefully selected fresh tomatoes, fresh vegetables, healthy fish, tender meat, and the finest spices she could afford. Many traders admired her. One elderly vegetable seller smiled and said, "Grace, you always choose the freshest produce." Grace laughed softly. "My customers deserve the very best." By 6 o'clock, smoke rose gently from the cooking pots at Grace's small roadside stall. The smell of steaming rice drifted through the air. Fresh vegetable soup simmered slowly. Golden fried plantains crackled inside hot oil. Pepper soup bubbled with rich spices. Beans cooked until they became soft and creamy. Although her business was only a simple roadside canteen, people often said it smelled better than many expensive restaurants. Grace's stall wasn't luxurious. There were only a few wooden benches, plastic tables, simple chairs, a roof made from corrugated zinc sheets. Nothing about it looked expensive, yet everyone noticed one thing immediately. Everything was incredibly clean. The tables were wiped after each customer, the serving spoons sparkled, the cooking pots shone like mirrors, the waste bins were emptied before they became full. The surrounding area was swept several times every day. Even flies seemed to avoid the place because Grace never allowed dirty plates or leftover food to remain outside. Whenever customers arrived, she welcomed each person with the same warm smile. "Good morning. You're welcome. Please have a seat. What would you like today?"
Nothing beats this place on a sunny
It didn't matter
afternoon.
whether someone bought only a bottle of water or
Cheers
enough
to
food
good
to feed
food
an
and
entire
great
family.
company.
Grace treated everyone with dignity. As weeks became months and months became years, Grace earned something far more valuable than money. She earned people's trust. Taxi drivers recommended her to passengers. Teachers brought their colleagues. Students saved money just to eat at her stall. Construction workers traveled from neighboring streets because they believed no one cooked like Grace. One afternoon, an elderly man finished eating but suddenly searched every pocket of his clothes. His face turned pale. "My daughter,
I forgot my wallet and don't have any money
Several
now.
customers
Can I
turned
come
to
back
look.
later and pay
Some
you?
expected
course,
Grace to
don't
become
worry.
angry. Instead, she smiled. "It's all right, Papa. You can pay me tomorrow." The elderly man's eyes filled with tears. "Are you serious?" Grace nodded. "I trust you." The following morning, the elderly man returned. Not only did he pay for yesterday's meal, he arrived with 5 of his friends. "This is the woman I told you about. The food is wonderful, but her heart is even better." The 5 men became regular customers. People began saying, "If you want good food, go to Grace. If you want respect, go to Grace. If you want cleanliness, go to Grace." Every kind act became free advertisement. Without paying for expensive marketing, her business continued growing. Within 3 years, Grace's little stall could no longer handle the growing number of customers. People often stood in line waiting for food. Some even arrived 30 minutes before opening time. Business became so busy that Grace hired 2 assistants, then 3. Soon she purchased larger cooking pots. She added more tables. She expanded the small cooking area. Although she earned more money than before, nothing about Grace changed. She still greeted customers personally. She still cleaned tables herself whenever necessary. She still thanked every customer before they left. Many people admired her humility. One customer remarked, "Success hasn't changed Grace." Another smiled, "That's exactly why she keeps succeeding." Grace simply believed that treating people well was good business. She never imagined that someone nearby was watching her every move, not with admiration, but with growing hatred. Directly opposite Grace's food stall stood another restaurant owned by a woman named Stella. Years earlier, Stella had been the busiest food seller in the entire market. Customers once filled every seat. Long queues stretched outside her shop. She believed nobody could compete with her. But times had changed. Now, every morning, she watched customers walk past her tables, past her chairs, past her cooking pots, straight to Grace's stall. She noticed workers laughing with Grace, children smiling, customers thanking her. She watched the endless queue forming while her own restaurant remained almost empty. Each passing day, her frustration grew stronger, until one afternoon, she could no longer hide her anger. Slamming a serving spoon onto the table, she shouted, "Why does everyone keep going to Grace? What does she have that I don't?" One of her assistants answered quietly, "Madam, people say her food tastes wonderful, and they say she treats everyone kindly." Stella frowned. "So you're saying I don't?" The frightened assistant lowered her head. "No, madam, that's not what I meant." But Stella had already stopped listening. Her heart had become filled with envy. Instead of asking herself how she could improve her recipes, instead of treating her own customers with more respect, she chose a different path, the path of jealousy. And jealousy has a dangerous way of convincing people that destroying someone else's success is easier than building their own. The following week, something strange started happening. As customers walked through the market, whispers followed them. "I heard Grace uses old meat. They say she reheats leftover food from previous days. Someone told me her kitchen is dirty. They even say rats enter her cooking area at night." The rumors spread quickly. Some customers hesitated. Others became confused. One regular customer walked up to Grace and asked gently, "Grace, I've been hearing some disturbing stories." Grace looked surprised. "What stories?" "They say your food isn't clean anymore." Grace stood silently for a moment. Then she smiled. "My kitchen is always open. Anyone who wishes can come and inspect it." I have nothing to hide. Instead of becoming angry, instead of arguing with anyone, Grace continued cooking exactly as she always had. Fresh ingredients, clean utensils, respectful service. Her assistants became worried. "Madam Grace, shouldn't we defend ourselves?" Grace shook her head. "The truth doesn't need to shout. If we continue doing the right thing, our customers will discover the truth for themselves." And that was exactly what happened. Customers visited her kitchen. They watched her prepare meals. They saw spotless floors, fresh vegetables, clean cooking pots, proper food storage. The rumors slowly began to die. People realized they had been deceived. Grace's business continued growing. Across the road, Stella became even more frustrated. One afternoon, a young woman entered Grace's restaurant carrying her little daughter. The child looked exhausted after spending hours at the market. Grace smiled warmly. "Welcome. What can I prepare for you?" The little girl quietly pointed toward the fried plantains. Grace laughed softly. "So that's what caught your attention." Within minutes, she served their meal. Before the mother could ask, Grace brought a cup of clean drinking water for the little girl. Children should never eat while thirsty. The grateful mother smiled. "You think about everyone." Grace simply replied, "Every customer is family while they're here." The woman later shared the experience with friends. Within days, several new customers arrived because of that single act of kindness. Grace didn't know it, but every small act of generosity was building a reputation money could never buy. One rainy evening, after Grace closed her food stall, dark clouds covered the sky. Most traders hurried home before the heavy rain began, but someone remained behind. Hidden beneath the darkness, a figure quietly approached Grace's stall. Garbage bags were emptied around the entrance. Rotten vegetables were scattered across the compound. Spoiled food was thrown beside the cooking area. Broken bottles littered the floor. Then the figure disappeared into the night. The next morning, Grace arrived early as usual. She stopped in disbelief. Her assistants gasped. "My goodness, what happened here?" Everything looked terrible. Anyone passing by would think the restaurant had become filthy overnight. One assistant angrily shouted, "This is someone's wickedness. We should report this immediately." Grace took a deep breath. Then she quietly picked up a broom. "If someone wants this place dirty, we'll clean it. If someone wants us discouraged, we'll work harder." For the next hour, everyone swept, washed, scrubbed, disinfected. By opening time, the restaurant looked cleaner than ever before. Several neighboring traders watched in silence. One elderly woman whispered to another, "I saw someone near this place last night, but I'm not ready to accuse anyone without proof." Grace overheard the conversation. She smiled gently. "No matter who did this, I pray God changes their heart." Those words left everyone speechless. After the incident, Grace decided not only to maintain her standards, but to raise them. She installed a proper hand-washing station outside the restaurant. She covered every meal with protective food covers. She purchased stainless steel serving containers. She introduced disposable gloves for serving food. She insisted every assistant wear clean aprons and hair coverings. Customers noticed immediately. "This place keeps improving. I feel safe eating here. The food is excellent, and the environment is always clean." The compliments encouraged Grace. She reminded her workers, "We're not just selling food, we're earning people's trust." One busy afternoon, a white government vehicle stopped outside the restaurant. 2 health inspectors stepped out. The entire market became quiet. Food sellers watched nervously. One inspector introduced himself. "We are conducting routine inspections." Grace smiled confidently. "You're welcome. Please inspect everything." The inspectors checked the kitchen, the cooking pots, the refrigerators, the ingredients, the washing area, the food storage containers, the waste disposal system, the temperature of cooked meals, even the workers' hygiene. Nearly an hour later, one inspector removed his glasses and smiled. "Madame Grace, I wish every food business maintained standards like yours." He handed her an official certificate recognizing her restaurant for excellent hygiene and food safety. The customers who witnessed the inspection applauded loudly. Some even stood to congratulate her. News spread throughout the market within hours. Grace's restaurant now carried an official recommendation. Business increased more than ever before. Across the road, Stella watched the celebration with clenched fists. Her eyes burned with anger. Why? Why won't this woman fail? Instead of feeling inspired, her jealousy became even darker, and this time, she was willing to cross a line from which there would be no easy return. What Stella planned next was far more dangerous than spreading rumors or scattering garbage. She was about to make a decision that could destroy lives, not just a business. And when that plan unfolded, the entire market would never be the same. If this story has you on a hook, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. The certificate hanging proudly on the wall of Grace's restaurant became the talk of the entire market. Customers smiled whenever they saw it. Some even took pictures and shared them online. Business had never been better. By lunchtime, every seat was occupied. People stood patiently in line, knowing the food was worth the wait. Across the road, Stella watched the crowd with bitterness. Her own restaurant remained almost empty. She could no longer think clearly. Jealousy had taken over her heart. Late one evening, after closing her restaurant, Stella sat alone in the dim light. She stared at the wall for several minutes before speaking to herself. If rumors couldn't destroy her, if making her stall look dirty didn't work, then I need something bigger, something more permanent. At that very moment, she made the worst decision of her life. The following evening, Stella quietly arranged to meet two young men behind an abandoned warehouse near the market. She looked around carefully to make sure no one was watching. The young men approached. "You said you had work for us?" Stella nodded. "There is a woman across the market. I want her business destroyed." One of the young men frowned. "What exactly do you want us to do?" Stella lowered her voice. "When the restaurant closes tomorrow, I'll leave one of the back windows slightly open. You'll go inside." She handed one of them a small bottle containing a dark liquid. "Pour this into one of her soup pots. When customers become sick, everyone will believe her food is poisonous." The younger man hesitated. "Madame, this could seriously hurt people." Stella replied coldly, "I didn't ask you to think. I asked you to do a job." After a moment of silence, the temptation of easy money overcame their conscience. They accepted the payment and walked away. Neither of them realized that this decision would soon haunt them. Meanwhile, Grace knew nothing about the evil plan unfolding against her. She finished serving her last customer just before sunset. As always, she thanked everyone warmly. "Travel safely. See you tomorrow." Her assistants cleaned the tables, washed the dishes, stored the remaining ingredients properly. Before locking up, Grace inspected every corner of the kitchen. She checked the gas cylinders, covered every cooking pot, locked the front entrance. Unknown to everyone, a small security camera installed on a nearby pharmacy building overlooked part of the market, including the side of Grace's restaurant. The pharmacy owner had installed it only a week earlier, after several cases of theft. No one paid much attention to it, but that camera was about to record something that would change everything. The market became quiet. Most traders had gone home. Only a few security guards remained on patrol. Around 10 o'clock that night, two shadowy figures quietly approached Grace's restaurant. One carefully pushed open the back window. The other climbed inside. Torchlight flashed briefly across the kitchen. The young man located one of the covered soup pots. He slowly removed the lid. Just as he reached into his pocket, a voice suddenly shouted, "Who's there?" It was Daniel, one of Grace's assistants. Earlier that evening, he had forgotten his mobile phone and returned to retrieve it. The frightened intruders froze. For a split second, nobody moved. Then panic took over. The two young men jumped through the window and ran as fast as they could into the darkness. Daniel chased after them for a short distance, but eventually lost sight of them. Breathing heavily, he hurried back to inspect the kitchen. Thankfully, nothing had been poured into the food. The soup remained untouched. Immediately, he called Grace. Within minutes, she arrived. Daniel explained everything. Grace looked shaken. This is no longer about business competition. Someone wanted innocent people to get hurt. The next morning, word spread quickly throughout the market. Many traders gathered outside Grace's restaurant. Everyone wanted to know what had happened. The market chairman arrived. "So someone actually tried to tamper with the food?" Daniel nodded. "I interrupted them before they could do anything." One nearby shop owner spoke up. "The pharmacy across the road has security cameras. Perhaps they captured something." Everyone hurried to the pharmacy. The owner welcomed them inside. They replayed the recording from the previous night. The room fell silent. There, on the screen, two young men could be seen approaching Grace's restaurant. A few minutes earlier, another person appeared on the video. She was speaking with the young men near the back entrance. The camera angle wasn't perfect, but as she stepped beneath a security light, her face became clearly visible. It was Stella. Nobody spoke. The room became so quiet that even breathing could be heard. The market chairman slowly paused the video. He turned toward the crowd. "Call an emergency market meeting." That afternoon, every trader gathered beneath the large community hall at the center of the market. Food sellers, customers, shop owners, market officials, even passers-by stopped to watch. Grace sat quietly near the front. Stella arrived several minutes later. She looked confident. She had no idea that the truth had already been discovered. The chairman stood. "We have gathered because someone attempted to sabotage a fellow trader." He nodded toward the pharmacy owner. "Please play the recording." The projector came alive. The footage appeared on the wall. Stella watched calmly at first. Then her face slowly changed. Her confidence disappeared. Sweat formed on her forehead. When her image appeared clearly speaking with the young men, gasps filled the hall. People looked at one another in disbelief. Impossible! It was Stella all along. "I can't believe this." The video ended. Silence followed. The chairman looked directly at Stella. "Do you deny what we've all seen?" Stella stood without speaking. Her hands trembled. She opened her mouth, but no words came out. Just then, 2 security officers entered the hall with the young men who had attempted the sabotage. One of them lowered his head and began to cry. "I'm sorry. We were paid. She told us to pour something into the soup. I didn't know it would become this serious." The second young man nodded. Everything he said is true. The hall erupted with angry voices. "How could you? Innocent people could have died. This is wickedness." The chairman raised his hand for silence. Then he turned toward Grace. "Do you wish to say anything?" Grace slowly stood. She looked at Stella, not with hatred, but with sadness. Her voice was calm. "Stella, we've worked in this market for years. If you believed I was doing something better, you could have asked me. I would have gladly shared my ideas." She paused. Tears filled Stella's eyes. Grace continued. "I never wanted your customers. I simply wanted to serve people well. The market is big enough for all of us." Those words pierced Stella's heart more deeply than any punishment ever could. She broke down in tears. For the first time, she realized that the woman she had tried to destroy had never considered her an enemy, but the consequences of her actions were only beginning. Would Grace demand justice? Would Stella lose everything she had left? Or would compassion change a life that jealousy had nearly destroyed? You'll find out in the final part of this unforgettable story. And if you've been inspired by Grace's character so far, don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends and family, and subscribe for more powerful stories that remind us that kindness is never a weakness. It is true strength. The market hall remained silent. No one could believe what they had just witnessed. A woman whom everyone respected had almost become the victim of a terrible crime, not because she had done anything wrong, but because someone else could not bear to see her succeed. The market chairman stood slowly. He looked at Stella with disappointment. "Stella," he began, "this market has always been built on trust. We compete fairly, we respect one another, and above all, we protect the lives of our customers." He paused before continuing. "You didn't only try to destroy another person's business, you endangered innocent people." Murmurs of agreement echoed throughout the hall. One trader stood up angrily. If Daniel hadn't returned for his phone, many people could have been poisoned. Another shouted, "She should be handed over to the police." Several others nodded in agreement. The atmosphere became tense. Everyone waited for Grace to speak. Grace slowly stood to her feet. She looked around the hall before turning to Stella. Stella's eyes were swollen with tears. She couldn't even look Grace in the face. Grace took a deep breath. What Stella did was wrong, very wrong, and she must face the consequences. The crowd nodded. But the single word surprised everyone. "I don't want hatred to be the last thing that comes out of this." People exchanged confused glances. Grace continued, "If we answer evil only with more evil, nothing changes. I believe people can learn. I believe hearts can change. But forgiveness does not erase responsibility." She turned toward the chairman. "I will not stop the market authorities from carrying out their duties, but I choose not to carry bitterness in my heart." The entire hall fell silent. Even those who demanded the harshest punishment were moved by her words. The chairman nodded respectfully. "Grace, your kindness is greater than your success." The market committee announced its decision. Stella would be suspended from operating her food business for 6 months. She would pay for the damage caused to Grace's restaurant. She would publicly apologize to Grace, her customers, and every trader in the market. She would also attend food hygiene and business ethics training before being allowed to reopen. Finally, the matter would be reported to the appropriate authorities, who would determine whether any further legal action was necessary. Stella accepted the decision without argument. For the first time in many years, she realized that jealousy had cost her far more than competition ever had. It had cost her dignity, her reputation, and the trust of the people around her. Half a year passed. The market continued to thrive. Grace's restaurant became even more successful. She expanded her menu. She employed more workers. She introduced affordable family meal packages and free drinking water for every customer. Yet, despite her growing success, she remained the same humble woman everyone loved. One bright Monday morning, a familiar face appeared at the entrance of her restaurant. It was Stella. She looked different. There was no pride in her eyes, no anger, only humility. She walked slowly toward Grace. "I don't expect you to forgive me," she said softly, "but I wanted to thank you." Grace smiled gently. "For what?" Stella wiped away a tear. "For showing me that kindness is stronger than revenge. I spent years blaming you for my failure, but during my suspension, I realized the truth." Grace listened quietly. "I never improved my food. I never respected my customers. I never kept my restaurant clean. I expected people to support me while I gave them less than they deserved." Grace nodded. "The hardest person to compete with is the person we were yesterday." Stella smiled for the first time in months. "You're right." With the approval of the market committee, Stella reopened her restaurant. But this time, everything was different. She cleaned her restaurant before sunrise every morning. She welcomed every customer with a smile. She listened to complaints without becoming angry. She stopped shouting at her workers. She bought fresh ingredients daily. She attended cooking classes to improve her recipes. Slowly, customers began returning, not because Grace had lost any of hers, but because Stella had finally learned how to earn people's trust. Instead of trying to pull someone else down, she had lifted herself up. Soon, both restaurants were doing well. There was no longer hatred across the road, only mutual respect. Sometimes, when the lunch rush became overwhelming, Grace would run out of bottled water. Without hesitation, Stella would send a few cartons across the road. And when Stella occasionally needed extra cooking gas or ingredients, Grace was always willing to help. The rivalry that had once been fueled by jealousy had become a friendship built on respect. Years later, people still talked about Grace. They remembered her delicious food. They remembered her spotless restaurant. They remembered her warm smile. But more than anything, they remembered her character. Because good food may attract customers once, but honesty, kindness, consistency, and respect bring them back again and again. And Stella's story became a lesson for every new trader who entered the market. They learned that success is never stolen by someone else's hard work. Success is earned through dedication, improvement, and service. Jealousy never builds businesses. It only destroys lives. If someone else's success makes you uncomfortable, don't waste your energy trying to pull them down. Instead, Ask yourself, what can I learn from them? Every successful person leaves clues. Some teach through their words, others teach through their actions. Grace taught an entire community that true success isn't measured by the size of your business, it's measured by the size of your heart. Because money can buy beautiful buildings, but it can never buy trust. Trust is earned one customer, one smile, one honest act at a time. And remember this, the sweetest recipe for success is hard work, integrity, humility, and kindness. Those ingredients never go out of style. If this story touched your heart and reminded you that goodness still exists in the world, please take a moment to like this video, share it with your family and friends so they can learn this valuable lesson too. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another inspiring story. Now, we'd love to hear from you. If you were in Grace's position, would you have forgiven Stella after everything she did? Or do you think justice should have taken a different course? Tell us your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, stay kind, stay humble, and remember, no matter how difficult the road becomes, never let another person's jealousy change the goodness in your heart.